Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm so glad you're here. This is the podcast where you hear stories and strategies to help women lead louder in rooms that weren't built for them. Welcome to this week's Badass Debrief, the solo episode where we don't just listen, we lead. I'm so excited to be here this week. I'm just pumped. I don't know. So, yeah, bear with me here. This time, we're breaking down the realest takeaways from episode number 388. Truths they don't tell you about being a leader.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Okay, so here's your gut check. Have you ever stepped into a leadership role thinking it would come with clarity, guidance, a little support maybe, only to find crickets? No map, no guide, just a vague congrats and stack on the expectations. You're not crazy. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just experiencing the real side of leadership, something that so many leaders go through. So it's time we talk about it. So let's dive in. So something that really hit hard from the last episode, and it's funny because yes, it's my episode, but I think this is a major takeaway and I wish I had learned this sooner. Leadership isn't about getting everything right. It's about getting real. Because here's the truth. You're not failing just because it feels hard. That is normal. And I think that we underestimate the growth or the power of growth. Like we really have to experience hard things or we have to stretch ourselves or do things that maybe we don't feel like we're awesome at. But that's how we grow. That's how we become better leaders. And so if you step into a promotional opportunity, it's like, yeah, it's hard. You have to learn a lot of things on the fly that nobody usually teaches you. But that's also being a badass because you're willing to grow and stretch and try new things. Even if you feel imposter syndrome, even if your voice shakes, you feel scared, that's okay. You can still do it anyway. And that's the power of rooms like this or podcasts like this is we can talk and you can find out you're not alone in this. Because I know I used to be in my head big time. And I definitely thought I was the one failing, not even at leadership, just my job in general, because I would just be in my head so dang much. And then the other side of things is you're leading in a world that expects you to smile or be softer or self-abandon. And if you're working in a predominantly male industry, it's like you get the female role, right? And expectations are different for female than they are for men. So it's a lot to juggle. So let me tell you a little bit about my story with this. When I got promoted to leadership, I didn't get a manual. I got assumptions. The assumption that I would just figure it out. The assumption that I would keep my friendships, that I wouldn't cry in the car, I would be tough. Wrong, wrong on all counts. I think that reminded me of Wedding Crashers. He's like, erroneous, erroneous on all counts. There we go. You're welcome for that. Anyway, I digress. One day I planned this whole meeting, food, connection, general it was a genuine effort to support my team and like bring up the morale because I felt like things had been tough. And someone bailed. He got upset with a separate decision and just didn't show up. And yeah, it hurt my feelings. I cried in the car. And then I walked in and held the meeting anyway. I thought about canceling it since everybody wasn't there. But I was like, you know what? Nope, it's still team building. We're still gonna do this. Because that's what we do. We feel our emotions and we lead our way. Just because there's a misunderstanding, that's not going to take you out. You made a mistake. I made a mistake. It's okay. It's life. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. But we get back up. We don't stay down. So the mic drop takeaway is leadership doesn't change who you are. It just makes people respond to you differently. And that's the one thing that nobody warns you about. They don't tell you that you might lose some friendships in the process, that people might not want to talk to you just because of your position. Nothing to do with you. It's just the role you're in. And so that alone will kind of separate some friends out. So you didn't lose your personality. You didn't suddenly become less cool or less fun. You're just carrying more responsibility. And fewer people understand what that costs. And I remember there were times like I started to get in my head about it. I started to be like, dang, what am I doing? Why does nobody, or why are people stop being friends with me? And I was like, okay, I'm the common denominator. And I even mentioned it in the last episode that one of the guys that was my friends is like, I don't want to be friends with the supervisor. Even though I wasn't directly supervising him, he didn't want to because he didn't want to be disciplined by someone that was a supervisor or by his friend. He didn't want to be disciplined by a friend. And you know what? At least he was nice enough to tell me that because most other people did not tell me that. But it happened at the right time because I was like doubting myself. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I didn't think I had changed. So find a support network, find other people who are going through it because you need those people to help vent or talk you down a little bit when you're upset or to help you realize it's not you. It just sometimes comes with the role. And this is especially true for women in leadership. As women, especially in predominantly male industries, we're expected to lead like them. We're labeled for how we act. We're labeled too emotional or you're labeled as too emotional or bitchy when it's not. It's just being ourselves, but people are going to put a label on it just because you're a female. But here's the thing. What if your intuition, your empathy, your hesitation before reacting isn't actually a weakness? That's wisdom. It's your superpower. So learn to embrace those things. The things that make you different than everybody around you, that's actually what people come to appreciate. They like that you're different, that you do things a different way, that you do things your way. So embrace that. I remember for so long I tried to fit in and do the same thing that other people were doing, and I just didn't want to like show my female side or show my emotional side. Actually, it's been joked about they called me a jawbreaker. She's like, you're hard on the outside and super soft on the inside. Because once they get to know me, I really wasn't super tough, but that's the exterior because of the job I work in, right? I would come across as tough, but I really have a passion for the people I supervise. So don't be afraid to tap into the things that make you you, the feminine side of you, and that again, it's your superpower. Being different than everybody around you is actually something that helps you stand out and helps make you a better leader. And all the more needed when you're surrounded by men. It's so necessary to have diversity and have different ways of thinking and doing things. It's refreshing, if I do say so myself. I don't know what that accent was. We'll roll with it. So the reframe for this week is loneliness doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It might mean that you're ahead. You're a pioneer. So say this to yourself. I'm not losing connection. I'm leveling up. I'm not losing connection. I'm leveling up. So for this week's challenge, I want you to write down one truth you wish someone told you about leadership. Just one. And put it in your journal, put it in your notes, wherever. Because the more that we name these invisible truths, the less that they own us. And you can also help other people out. Like somebody is newly promoted and you wish you knew something, that's something you can pass on to them. And they're going to be so grateful, especially if you save them the heartache. And not only can you share it with that coworker or share it with a friend, but share it with me on IG at Ordinary to Badass. I want to hear from you. And another thing, talk about these invisible truths. If you put it in your stories, tag me at Ordinary to Badass or DM me, then I can share it with others too and help them realize, hey, yeah, that is true. I'm not the only one that's felt that way. I'm not the only one that learned that. Or, oh, that's a good tip. Maybe I'll take that on. I'll try that. So, again, tag me at Ordinary to Badass on Instagram or DM me. Okay, let's get into a mindset shift. The goal isn't to be the most liked in the room. It's to lead with integrity, with clarity and strength. So the next time someone questions your confidence or your decisions, remember, You weren't made to fit in. You were made to build the damn table. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to build the damn table. If this episode helped you in any way, share it with a friend. Share it with a fellow leader, a fellow badass. And if you'd leave a rating and review on iTunes, I would love it because every little review helps and other badasses that are just like you can find the show. And you can also grab the Breaking Barriers guide, ordinarytobadass.com/barriers, where you can hear from other badass women who have gone through this and get tips and advice from them. ordinarytobadass.com/barriers. Until next time, keep showing up, keep speaking up, and never ever shrink for a seat at the table. You were born to build it. And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.